I think there was a sense of because it was the first World Cup finals the country had ever appeared in. It was always going to be fun and a journey right from the first game. But I think with the second game, with the first knockout game, the game against Romania, I felt with that game it was one that everybody felt we could win. Everybody felt we could win that game. They had an outstanding player in Georgie Hagi, who was a brilliant footballer and such a dangerous player. And the instruction certainly to myself in the midfield and Paul McGrath and people like that, Ray Houghton, Kevin Sheedy, is listen, if this guy gets it, and he kind of drifted on the right side of midfield and he cut inside on his left foot and he was and he hit him hard, seriously hard. And it was whoever's nearest to him, you get in him and you shut him down, and let him go elsewhere with it, let him give it to somebody else, and we'll worry about that. But he is a serious player, and we have to deny him. And he still got away. It was a ferociously hot day, scorching hot weather, and he still got away 4 or 5 really powerful shots that thankfully either went straight at Packie Bonner or just to the side of the posts. But again, very, very hot. Chances at a premium. We had 1 or 2 situations, not a tremendous amount of chances, and I got the feeling even before 90 minutes that this was going to always go all the way.
So it does go to penalties. Had the team prepared for penalties?
We were taking penalties pretty much every day after training. In fact, Niall Quinn was brilliant at saving penalties. Right, he was great, Quinny. After training, he used to offer anybody for a tenner, 3 penalties. If I save one of them, you owe me a tenner. If you score all 3, then I've got to pay you a tenner. That's how confident he was that he'd get. And invariably at 6'5" or whatever Quinny is, he could dive one way and then there's a leg out here somewhere, ends up getting a knock on it and knocking it over the bar. And he used to clean up after training pretty much every day. So we did practice them. Maybe not as absolutely seriously, obviously, as we could have done or should have done. But we did take them. People were taking penalties. But there wasn't just a definite 5 or 6 that were taking them. Lots were going through just getting into that mindset of taking a penalty.
When did you know that you were going to take one?
Because I think when after extra time finished, we all got together on the halfway line. And I'm not really sure because there'd been changes in the game. There was some substitutions, but I think Steve Staunton had gone off. Stan, he would have taken one, I'm sure, if he'd have been on the field at that time. But he'd already gone off. So Kevin Sheedy was a definite penalty taker. He would have been our penalty taker in 90 minutes if we'd have got a pen. So Sheeds was always going to take one, and I said I'll take one. And then after that, I think Ray Houghton ended up saying, yeah, I'll take it. I don't think Cass really fancied it. I don't think so. But as a striker, and obviously he had the courage and he was prepared to do it, but I don't think he absolutely wanted to take one. But he probably knew at that point he'd have to step up, and he did. And then, of course, the last one was Dave O'Leary, which was I mean, when I think back, he wouldn't have been one that you'd have put in your 5, of course not. But actually, when you now start to analyse it, he was a perfect one to have in your 5. Tons of experience, cool as anything, not a problem to Dave. To step up and do that.
I mean, you played in a lot of big games, Andy, but what was it like walking up to take a penalty in a shootout at a World Cup?
Yeah, it was. It's without doubt the most nervous situation I've ever been in as a player. I'd had penalty shootouts at club for Aston Villa. When I think about them afterwards, but nothing compares with that one. The only thing I would say is that because you've been through 120 minutes in scorching conditions, you're not tense like you would be if you got a penalty in the first 5 minutes of normal time. I think your body is you're sort of quite shattered, and your socks are down by your ankles, and your shirt's hanging out outside your shorts and whatever. And I think you're in that sort of mode where you've just got to try and concentrate on when you're on the halfway line. You're sitting there. You just know that that's a long walk. It's a long walk. It's a long way from the halfway line to the penalty spot, and nobody runs. everyone walks. You know, it's a long way. You never walk that far in any game. So that's a long way to go, and you've got a lot of time to think there. You've got a lot of time to think about, do I stick to what I think I'm going to do, or when I get there, am I going to change my mind? I never try to overcomplicate penalties. I've taken quite a few over the years, and left foot always going that way, to my left. And you just hope the goalkeeper don't go the same way, because I wasn't going to blast them. I would always prefer to tuck it in, place it if I can. And whilst that's a horrible walk going up to the penalty spot, if you knock it in, the walk back is a nice one. The walk back is a lovely one, because the walk back, you know, and it's funny. I've watched. You can see. I've seen videos of myself sort of walking up to the spot and obviously looking quite nervous, trying to look cool, but heart's going like 100 to the, you know, and then you walk back, and then I remember seeing Cass's face as I've walked back. I'm smiling, and he's now sort of, you know, his face is really screwed up because he knows he's up next. And it's a bit like that. You're all in it as a team, of course you are. And you're all desperate for each other to score, but you don't want to be the one to let the side down. And so whilst everyone else is already celebrating and you're high-fiving the other guys because you've scored your pens, you know, the next man up is already fearing what might happen if he don't score. He'd been really close. Packy. In three, he'd gone the right way, and he'd got hand to one or two, and it looked like he was closer than their goalie was to saving one. I think most of our penalties, I think Kevin Sheedy's, Ray Houghton's, mine, and Cass's were all. I mean, Cass's one went under their goalkeeper. That was the closest one. But I think the first three, I don't believe they got too close to. But Packy was going the right way, or just missing it, or he dived and it's just gone under his hand, and that sort of scenario. It felt like he looked like he was getting close. And when their guy come up, I think his name was Timofte. Timofte, his name was, who took the penalty. He took a really short run up. I always think with him, you know, like literally 2 paces. Now you can't change your mind with a run up like that. You cannot change your mind. And eyeballing the goalie really wasn't something that was being done at that particular time. So you know he's going one way, and you know he can't hit it that hard. If you go the right way with that one, you've got every chance of saving it. And it was a comfortable save. You know, Packy guessed the right way, dived the right way, and made a comfortable save. And now it's and from that moment onwards, me and Cass went running over to him to celebrate with him, and we were told that we weren't supposed to do that, and you don't get back, you could get yellow carded, you know, and all this nonsense. But you know, you just get lost in a moment like that, because you know now you're on the cusp of going through.
So just describe what it was like watching David's penalty hit the back of the net.
I never thought for a second Dave would miss. I really didn't. I don't know how the rest of the boys felt about it. I never thought for a split second he'd miss that. Because again, knowing Dave, who wasn't first pick under Jack, and had probably, you know, not played anything like perhaps as much as he would have liked to have done. I honestly don't think we probably had a better man to actually send up and take that pen, because he was cool and composed, and if he was showing any sign of, or if there was any anxiety in there, I couldn't see it. And when he walked up to the spot and put it down, and I think he took a few paces back, I felt sure he'd score. I really did, and thankfully he popped it in.
Did you have a big night out?
We had an amazing night. I mean, the celebrations after that moment were incredible. And I remember going back into the dressing room, and everybody's, you know, all the staff, everybody's in tears, everybody's bouncing off the walls, literally. And it was such a high, such an amazing feeling after such an exhausting game, and then to go through that experience and come out on the right side of it was just incredible, just a sensational feeling. And it was there then that we were told, I think, that we'd be off to Rome, and it looked like we'd be playing Italy in Rome, which then was, and of course it's a quarter-final. Now you're starting to dream a bit. But it was a spectacular feeling in that dressing room. Just nothing can beat that, nothing. I know that Jack felt this was going to be a little bit like lambs to the slaughter, that we couldn't possibly go to in the Olympic Stadium and expect to get the refereeing decisions that you want, expect to have, this is against the host, this is in Rome, this is in the Olympic Stadium, there was a few thousand Irish fans there and there was 80,000 Italians there. It was all we'd seen in the build-up to the game was Pavarotti and Nessun Dorma and the players around, and this song was booming out everywhere, which was again was wonderful just to be part of it and experience it. So I think we genuinely felt like we would have to move heaven and earth to win the game, and I think we played okay. I don't think we played great. I think we played okay. We're always competitive. Very rarely gave that much away, so that always gives you a chance. Created a couple of chances. Quinny had a header. Big Niall had a header, I think. I think John Aldridge came on late in the game and might have had half a chance. But their goal was Donadoni, who's playing off their left-hand side. He cut in on his right foot, hit a good shot, and he pinged it towards the near post, and Paki Bonner had it covered. He sort of got his hands on it. He saved it and he popped it back down, and he sort of stumbled beyond the near post as he saved it. Just sort of stumbled, just lost perhaps his footing a little bit or whatever. Stumbled a bit, and it dropped to Schillaci, who'd become the darling of Italian football in the space of a fortnight. And Schillaci rammed it in the far corner for 1-0. And of course, the roof nearly came off. And that was it. We couldn't find a way back. And so we were obviously desperate, devastated, and the journey's finished. But it was an amazing effort, and everyone absolutely loved it, and the fans and the people and everyone back home in Ireland were going crazy, obviously. And what I do remember is afterwards in the dressing room was that, and it's one of the funniest lines I think I've ever heard in football. Jack come in and said, "Thank you for everything you've done. Thanks for all your effort. You couldn't have given me any more. I'm proud of each and every one of you. The country are so proud of what you've done. But it's finished, it's over. We're going to have a good night tonight. We're going to get home, see your families, blah, 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 whatever." So, of course, everyone's still sitting around, moping around in the dressing room. Come on, let's get in the shower, let's get going. Come on, let's go. And eventually, I think I was one of the last to go into the shower. And I know Paki Bonner was still sat there. He wasn't despondent about the fact that he might have felt he should have done a bit better with a shot. I think just like the rest of us, just disappointed that the tournament has now finished. And Jack turned around to Paki and said, "Come on, Paki, get in the shower. Come on. That's it. We're done. Let's get going." And he sort of trudged off to the shower, and I was sort of following him. And Jack was now sat down. He's got a fag in his hand, and he looked at me. He took a drag of his fag, big smile on his face. And he said, "Andy," and I looked at him, he went, "The fucking Pope would have saved that." And I just thought that was the most unbelievable line that I think I've ever heard in any situation I've been in football. For him to come out with a line like that, I thought was genius, absolute genius. Just incredible, it was an incredible tournament for us. That was an incredible day, and that, I'm someone that likes to have a bit of fun about whatever I'm doing. And I just thought that was, in such a big moment at such a big time, that was just an amazing funny line to come out with, and very true. It was very special to me, and I still get reminded of how special it was to Ireland and to the country whenever I'm back there. It was just a thrill to be involved in something like that. You hear people saying international football is the pinnacle of anybody's career. Playing international friendlies isn't the pinnacle of everybody's career, I don't think. I think it's an honour, but I don't think you'd put it, playing in a bog standard friendly, I don't think you'd put it up there with absolute. But playing in a World Cup finals, experience in that togetherness that you have as a group, the fun, then you have the amazing ups, then you have the heartache, then you have the downs, then you get together and have a sing-song and a few drinks after, and then you get ready to do it again. And so I think what it did, it certainly whet all of our appetites to say, listen, we've given it our best, we've had a fantastic blast, we've come up a bit short, but let's try and do it again.